Good morning, everybody. Today is the 7th day of October. It's 12 o'clock, so it's noon, and I haven't wrote anything. Well, it isn't correct. I wrote 10 words. I'm up all morning and I can't get the words out, so I'm pretty bummed about that. I didn't write much yesterday. I don't even know if I filmed anything because normally I work until 1 o'clock. But yesterday I was home around 4:30. Yesterday evening I would have been at the gym from 7 to 9. I normally do a virtual cycling lesson and after that work out in the gym for an hour. Because COVID, our government decided that all group lessons should be stopped, and even though I'm following that lesson alone, I couldn't follow it because it's still a group lesson. So that was a bit of a bummer. The gyms are closing earlier again, so I went for an hour. I did some workout, but it didn't feel as good as it normally does. But for now, I first need to write something. And yesterday I wrote 686 words, so that isn't a lot. I think I didn't film. I'm still not sure. But now I need to start doing something because I've been lying around all morning and it's not helping me with my word count. That's for sure. So I think I will continue my Harry Potter adventure because I know I will get a lot of words in when I do that. And hopefully I can write at least 3 or 4K because my advantage that I had in the beginning of this week is just crumbling down. So my goal for this weekend is 7K. So let's see if I can make that. So for my writing session, at this point I have some weird kind of cider. It's almost alcohol free. It's 0.0%. It's 12 o'clock. I'm drinking. I don't think it can hurt. I'm not a huge drinker, but this will be okay. I have my water bottle and I hope to get some coffee from my boyfriend somewhere in my writing. But we're not sure, so let's start and let's see if we get coffee. I'm done with this day already. The real problem with my story at this point is not that I don't know how to continue, but that my main character, so Katie, decides that she wants to become friends with Dominic. They had a fun evening with some other people, with Pien and Liz, Michelle and Dan. And he's walking her home and at one point he says, well, that's what friends are for. So she decides, yes, I want to become friends with you. Ooh, happy, fun stuff. And I don't like to write that fun stuff because I know it will be fun for a while and it will help her to get over those weird things she does when Dominic's around, like running away. But the problem is I like to write how she struggles with it. It's pretty fun. And now she has to be happy with him as friends. They start dating later on, and I need to find a way to tear up her relationship with Kevin. And it's going pretty good. Kevin is pissed a lot about her working out, about her finding new friends. But it's not enough to sacrifice a relationship for 5 years. So yesterday I was thinking, maybe I should let her cheat. But I don't want the relationship for Dominic and Katie to start over cheating. And I don't want Dominic to have leverage over her. So when they break up and Kevin is going to the gym with Katie, that he can say, do you know what she did when you were together? I don't want to give him that power. Because then Katie's life would be over. And I think she isn't strong enough to fix things up with Dominic or Kevin or whoever if that happens. So I can't write an end at all. I'm done with the chatting and the procrastinating. Let's do our first task. So in my last chapter I wrote that Dominic is bringing Katie home from a fun night with friends. She had to kiss him on the cheek a few times because of a game. Well, she's so drunk she would do that at that point, even though it's going against her character profile. And while she's walking with Dominic, at one point she believes that she isn't drunk anymore. Yes, then you're really drunk, because she doesn't know what to say. By the way, I'm looking at the screen because even though I know what happens, I want to tell you correctly. And she's in the belief that Pien is in love with Dominic because of something what Liz said. At one point she's telling Dominic that she has a lot of fight with Kevin because he's not happy with her going to the gym so much, and she tells him a lot of personal stuff. So she tells him that she believed that Liz was inviting her because Liz was feeling sorry for her. So she's going pretty deep for her character. And Dominic offers her that he will talk to Kevin to explain why being at the gym is a good thing and that kind of stuff. Even though he doesn't have to go, he needs to support her. That's his vision. And then she says, I don't think it will work if a tipsy Adonis is walking in his house in the middle of the night to talk about sports. And Dominic is laughing about it, so he's like, I'm not thinking about doing this tonight, and I'm not tipsy, nor an Adonis. I'm drunk and my parents were on family. So Katie is really confused, and he explains that Adonis is the kid of an incestuous relationship, but if you're meaning something else, thank you, you can get your eyes checked tomorrow. And then he goes on to be a bit more serious and says, well, I will talk to him some other time if you want me to. She says that she will think about it. She won't. And he answers, well, that's what friends are for. And then she realizes, oh, maybe he was interested in me because he wants to become my friend and not to use me to show that he's interested in everyone and not only the pretty girls to the pretty girls. In this chapter you feel a lot of hints that they're liking each other, even though Dominic doesn't like her at that point. He's just drunk and he's just really friendly. So now I'm writing chapter 7. She wakes up with a headache. She has a really huge hangover. And you see what happens when she got home, that Kevin was sleeping on the couch, probably because he fell asleep in front of the television, but maybe he was pissed. She doesn't know yet. And while she's lying in bed, she realizes that she kissed Dominic a lot and that she feels guilty about it towards Kevin, even though she only kissed him on the cheek and it was a game. And then she realizes that she called him an Adonis and she feels really stupid. And at this point it's Sunday, so on Monday she's going for a spinning lesson with Evie. And at first I was thinking maybe I could let Evie be sick and let them spend time together, but maybe I want to let her suffer a bit more. Because on Monday she sees Dominic at the gym, and I think that he won't be there. I think that's a good starting point. So she will be all hyped up all Monday that she's going to see him, and then he isn't there. And he isn't there on all the other days, so she's a bit bummed out, thinks that he doesn't want to be friends. He's second guessing what he said to her about being friends and all that kind of stuff. And I think after a week he will do a spinning lesson with her instead of Evie, who calls him from I'm sick and you need to tell Katie, and also you need to come and take care of me. I'm still not happy with what I'm going to do now. I need to get starting because I'm procrastinating again. Professor McGonagall escorts you and your peers into the Great Hall for sorting. After the sorting hat sings its songs and several students walk up timidly, your name is called and you sit down on the stool. Timid and worried. I believe I did this last time. I didn't write it down, so I'm doing it again. Damn it. Timid and worried about what is about to happen. McGonagall places the hat on your head, and you're sorted into your house. Pick one of the 4 houses: Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. And I'm still a Ravenclaw girl. So I need to write to the nearest 1,000. Calculate how many words it will take you to write to the nearest 1,000. And I'm at 13,111 words. So I need to write 898 words. Why am I doing this again? So I put my timer on 3 hours so I can plant this very fancy clock tree. It's cute. I can only use Spotify and I will turn off the internet from my PC. Then I hope I won't get distracted. I'll see you all in a bit. So I started. I wrote 200 words. Then my parents showed up. So I'm going downstairs. This isn't a good writing day so far, but we'll make it. Somehow. So it's 2 o'clock now, my parents just left. I'm still doing the first word count sprint thing, the first word crawl. I'm so out of it today. Let's try again. And hopefully now I can finish at least this word crawl. See you later. So it's almost 4 o'clock now. I look like a mess, I feel like a mess. And I'm only at 14,000 words at this moment. I know the next chapter that I will be writing will be fun to write and will help me to get some words in today. But for this chapter, I needed to have a quiet chapter where she is just struggling with herself. And I decided that I would let her visit her friend that lost the baby and have a conversation where she reconnects with Kevin. So it isn't like, oh, I'm going to the gym, my relationship is over. Because I was feeling that in the story and that wasn't what I intended to do. I'm almost through with the scene. It's a scene that needs to be there because otherwise it would be weird that she will go to the gym because she's mourning the loss of a young boy, of a baby. And after that they're never speaking of it again. At one point she will tell Dominic, but I wanted to show the audience, the reader, that she really is going to his grave every week and that she's really thinking about him. But it's a pretty hard scene because writing about the death of a baby and grieving parents is not something that's really up my alley. I don't have a lot of experience with it, thankfully, but nobody wants to write about it. This is what I'm doing, and after this I can write a more fun scene which makes me happy again. But for at this moment, writing is not going great, and I'm not sure if I can hit 15k today. So that's a bit of a bummer. With that said, I'm going to write again. I'll see you all in a bit. So it's 5:30. I hit 15k. I'm happy. I'm going to get dinner. I'm pretty happy about how my story is going at this moment. Katie and Kevin had a really good talk, and that's something that they didn't do for a long time. And now she's at the gym, and normally she spins with Avi, spinning lessons. But Avi is sick, and Dominic decides to join Katie while spinning, and Katie tells him everything about Marcus, the dead baby of Vera, her friend, and how she's grieving, and why did she start working out, and how Kevin is feeling about it, and all those things. And now it's time for Dominic to open up, because he's going to tell her about his parents and their divorce. And then I think he will tell her that he had a relationship with Avi. I'm not sure about that. Maybe I'll place some hints and let Katie find it out on herself. Because if I tell, then I have to make Katie react to Avi that she knows. I can not tell, and Katie will still think that the two are in love. And my last option is that Dominic tells Katie that he had a relationship with Avi and that it didn't work out the first time, but that he's trying to find out if he still likes her. So those are my three options. I'm going to get dinner and think about it, and after that I will write about it. See you soon. So I've made it to 15k, which means another gift. Yay! Ooh, I know what this is and I like it. I believe I bought the same one for myself. It says in Dutch: om te kunnen schrijven moet je rustig blijven. En ben je het allemaal zat, ontspan dan in bad. So, to write, you need to stay calm. And if you're done with it, take a relaxing bath. And it's from Knijp. I'm not sure if I bought this myself or that I saw it in the store and thought I want to have it but didn't buy it. Because I bought too much at that moment. I wish you could smell this. This smells amazing. I'm going to work for the next present because I like them and it makes me happy, and I only need 5k to get another present. Maybe I'm a bit too hyped about it. Let's continue writing. Okay, just let's be honest. I didn't do much. I sat down, we had something to eat. I tried writing, but it didn't really work. I think I wrote myself stuck a bit. I decided that Dominic would tell Katie about him being in a relationship with Avi in the past. But I can't seem to get a good reaction from her because, well, I don't know. I don't know what's missing in this scene, but there's something missing, you know? They're talking again, and you'll notice that she trusts him without reason. He trusts her without reason. And I'm trying to find out why they trust each other. Well, some people you just trust. That's not weird. We all do this, but I want to have a good reason, you know? So I sat on the couch for a few hours, watched some YouTube, pretended to write while doing something else. Wasn't really productive. But I decided that I really need to do some more stuff. So I went upstairs again, and I'm going to write here in the dark, and hopefully I get some better ideas. I'm going to check in with you later and see if I had a better idea, and if I didn't, how the story will continue, because after this point Katie and Dominic will become friends and close friends. And Katie needs to break up with her boyfriend somewhere. Still working on it. See you all in a bit. So it's almost 11 o'clock. I'm at 16,000 words. I decided that the scene that wasn't working as well as I wanted to, I just left it somewhere in the middle, just wrote an end to it and started on a new chapter. And I like this chapter very much so far. Katie has another fight with Kevin. At some point they had a conversation and it went well. I don't know if I told you. If I did, you're hearing this again. But they tried to find each other again. It worked for around 10 days, then they got a fight again. And the last fight that they had in this chapter, Katie is going to Bean's house to have another drunk night. Even though they all call it playing board games, their most important goal is to drink and have fun. But because of the fight, she talks with Dominic and they're walking around the neighborhood before they enter the house. And Kevin said some pretty nasty things to Katie, that she isn't becoming any more pretty, or that she isn't getting more fun now that she's at the gym, and that she is stupid to believe those people, that kind of stuff. So Kevin talks about that she changed, that Katie changed, but that isn't a bad thing. He talks with Katie and Katie tells him that she's proud of what she accomplished. He tells her about the things that he saw that were changed, and also that Kevin doesn't have the right to hurt her, be that mean. She doesn't have to allow him to talk to her like that. And at some point, this is the last few sentences that I wrote, she says to Dominic that she's afraid that her relationship won't make it. And Dominic tells her that only time will tell the tale, and that whatever happens, Kevin doesn't have the right to take her dignity, and that Katie shouldn't let him. So it's pretty cute. Now they're going to play a game and get drunk, and I think that Dominic will bring Katie home, and then in the end, right before she enters the house, he says to her something like, "To be honest, you became more fun and definitely more pretty." And then he turns around and walks away. So that leaves Katie a bit confused, but they're friends at this point, so she doesn't really believe that it's from a loving point of view. It's more of a friendly point of view. And I think somewhere at this point, Dominic is getting feelings for Katie. I think that will happen during the game night, so that's something I'm looking forward to. I need to write something intense, romantic, and after that I can finally break the two up, and I won't tell Dominic right away. She doesn't, the other people don't, so I think at one point Dominic will walk her home and then she tells that she doesn't live there anymore. She lives somewhere else, and then he reacts to it like, "Oh, what happened?" And he tells her, "Yeah, we broke up a few months ago." And then at their house he says something like, "Well, this is something I wanted to do," and then kisses her. That's an option. The other option is, in the story I told that the gym always has a bar themed evening every year. It's a project that Liz and Dominic started when they were both interns there, and Katie will kiss with Dominic there. I really think that that's another good way to let them embrace, because at some point she has to go home and he doesn't have to go home, so he needs to clean up and stuff, so they won't end up in the bushes right away. So that's something I need to figure out. For now, it's 11 o'clock. I'm writing for I think half an hour and then I'm going to bed. If I don't check in anymore, good night. End number of the day, 16,748 words. I'm pretty pleased. Good night, everybody.